Imagine this, you're promised $5 million just for staying inside a spotless, completely white room for 50 days. Sounds easy, right? Well, not quite. Welcome to the wild social experiment designed by the mysterious Dr. Voyan. He's a shadowy figure with a lot of money and an obsession with the human condition. His latest project? Trap a couple inside a featureless, white room, the Immaculate Room, and reward them with a massive cash if they can last the full 50 days. But there's a catch. If one of them quits early, the $5 million drops down to just $1 million. No phone, no internet, no books, no distractions, just the two of them and their sanity. So meet today's test subjects. Mike and Kate. A young couple who think this is easy money. Mike's thrilled, thinking they totally lucked out by finding this opportunity. For Kate, it's more than just money. She sees it as a second chance for them, maybe a fresh start, but she's also cautious. Early on, she suggests that if they win, they should split the money evenly from the beginning. Her plan? Use it to invest and build a stable future. Mike? Nah, that's boring. He's thinking more yachts, parties, and a life where he never has to work again. As the AI voice booms through the room and lists the rules, they start exploring the place. And yep, they weren't kidding when they said, immaculate. Everything is blindingly white. The furniture? Just a basic bed and a bench. There's a simple bathroom, but only one of them can use it at a time. A red button on the wall can end the whole challenge for them instantly. And there's a touch screen where they can order treats, but those will cost them some of the prize money. Above the door is a giant countdown clock, their constant reminder of the time left in this mental pressure cooker. Now let's talk food, or whatever this is. Meals are just white, flavorless nutritional shakes in white cartons. Every day, same thing. It keeps them alive, sure, but there's zero joy in it. Even the lights are programmed. They change tone based on the time of day, morning, afternoon, evening, and finally night, which signals it's bedtime. There's an alarm feature on the touchscreen too. Mike wants to sleep in and treat it like a lazy vacation. Kate, however, sets a morning alarm to keep herself in some kind of routine. Because let's be honest, this place could mess with your head fast. On their first night, Mike tries to get intimate with Kate, but she's hesitant, worried they might be watched. Mike keeps pushing gently, and eventually they go for it, but as quietly and discreetly as possible under the covers. The next morning, Kate does a little self-care routine. She looks in the mirror, says her affirmations to stay positive, and reminds herself of her goals. After showering, they drop their used clothes into a laundry chute. In return, new pajamas. Not fancy, but at least they have a hint of color this time. A tiny win in a world of white. As the hours crawl by, boredom creeps in. Kate tries to figure out what Voyan is really up to, why he's even doing all this. Mike shares that he once watched a documentary about Voyan's past experiment, which ended in tragedy for a working-class family. Nobody knows what drives this guy, but it's clear he has a fascination with testing people under pressure. With nothing to do, Kate starts meditating while Mike, well, he stares at the countdown clock. Sometimes he goes on these deep philosophical rants, especially about things like the meaning of the color white. Yep, he digs into it using all that art school knowledge. He even debates which direction they should brush their teeth in. And just like that, the mental games have begun. Boredom, personality clashes, and the eerie silence of a spotless room. Mike is having a tough time keeping his cool. He can't sleep, he's restless, and the silence is slowly eating at him. But Kate, she's trying hard to keep things positive. She's got this routine going. Affirmation words, making the bed like it's the most important task in the world, and constantly reminding Mike to stop obsessing over the clock and focus on that massive $5 million prize. To stay sane, Kate meditates. Mike? Not really the meditation type. Instead, he starts running laps around the room just to burn some energy. The two try to keep each other distracted by playing random games, clapping hands, yelling Marco Polo, and even dancing for no reason at all. Honestly, it's kinda cute until it's not. Now, get this. Whenever they change out of their gross worn pajamas, the room gives them new ones that look exactly the same. Imagine that mind game. Even changing clothes doesn't feel like change. Then, finally, something different happens. Mike spots a tiny bug that somehow made it into the sealed room. He's instantly obsessed. He starts talking to it like it's a baby. Even tries to feed it some of their meal shake. But nope. The ever-watchful AI voice immediately chimes in. Food is only for contestants. Harsh. Mike, being Mike, actually asks the AI to let the bug out of the room. He swears he doesn't want to leave, just wants to save the little guy. But Kate's like, Mike, that speaker doesn't even work both ways. I've already tried talking to it. That's when Mike seriously considers pressing the exit button, just to open the door, not leave. That doesn't sit well with Kate. They get into a heated argument. Kate says if he pushes the button, even if he doesn't walk out, they could still lose the money. Mike calls her heartless for not caring about a living creature. Then, the real jabs start flying. Kate throws it in Mike's face that he's only vegan to rebel against his rich dad. She accuses him of being a privileged poser who's trying to earn starving artist street cred without ever truly struggling. Ouch. Kate storms off, only to accidentally step on the bug. Yeah, that escalated fast. Mike is devastated. He doesn't even believe her when she says it was an accident. He sulks in the corner for the rest of the day, just broken over the whole thing. Eventually, he decides enough is enough. Sitting and doing nothing is messing with his head. So, even though it'll cost them $100,000 off the prize, Mike chooses to claim one of his treats. Kate's against it, but he doesn't need her permission. His treat? A single green crayon. That's it. But for Mike, that crayon means he can finally create again. He starts drawing all over the walls, finally finding a piece of himself in the sterile room. Kate watches him for a while and then asks, "Hey, can you draw me?" He agrees, but there's a catch. He doesn't do realistic portraits. Too boring, he says. He sticks to his abstract style. Kate, not impressed. She loses interest and walks away. Mike draws and draws until the crayon is just a green stub, and now he's gotten green smudges everywhere, including the bathroom and the towel. Kate loses it again. But later she softens up and apologizes for being, in her words, a twat. She admits it. This is way harder than she expected, but hey, they've made it this far. Only 20 days left. Time drags on. Days blur into each other in a haze of boredom. And then, boom. One morning, Kate goes into the bathroom and discovers something absolutely shocking. There's a gun. Yep. A real gun has somehow appeared in the room. And just like that, the whole game changes. And yeah, they're too scared to even check if it's loaded. I mean, imagine being stuck in a room where you're not allowed to have anything but clothes and a gun suddenly shows up. Creepy, right? Since the AI in the room doesn't allow them to throw non-clothing items into the laundry chute, they decide to hide it under the bed. Smart? Maybe. Sketchy? Definitely. But then, finally, a little break from the madness. They get something called Connect Time, which lets them watch video messages from their loved ones. Mike's sister shows up on the screen first. She's cheerful, updates him about their parents, but also accidentally lets it slip that she thought he wasn't with Kate anymore. Uh-oh. Mike is touched, though. It genuinely lifts his spirits. But for Kate? Total opposite. She doesn't want to see anyone. Unfortunately, the screen automatically plays a video of her dad, who she hasn't seen in years. Turns out, he's now living in a homeless shelter. The moment is so overwhelming for her that she runs and hides, crying behind the bathroom entrance. Mike tries to comfort her, but this hits deep. The next day, Kate doesn't even get out of bed. She's in a full depressive episode. And when Mike gently pushes her to talk, she finally reveals something she's been hiding. Her dad drank away everything. Their house, her school fees, her future. She's always been ashamed, and she had lied to Mike about it before. Now there's only about 2 weeks left in the challenge, but Kate still won't get out of bed. Mike tries everything to cope. He smudges his crayon drawings for fun, reads the pajama label with different emotions, yes, full drama class mode, even cracks jokes about the awful food, but nothing gets through to her. Eventually he joins her in bed, just trying to offer silent comfort. Some days, he even sleeps on the floor just for a change of scenery. At one point, Mike tries to tempt Kate into taking a treat, which costs them money, remember, but she refuses. She's too focused on not losing any more of the prize. But Mike starts to break too. He admits he's not sure he can do this anymore, and that finally gets through to Kate. She gets up and tells him he should take a treat. So Mike takes one, and what happens next? The door opens, and in walks a completely naked woman named Simone. Yep, you heard that right. She's super chill though. She's just an actress hired for this gig, doesn't know much about the experiment, and her agent told her she's staying for maybe 24 hours. Still, the whole thing throws Kate off. She immediately makes Mike give Simone his t-shirt to at least cover her up a bit. But it gets more awkward. Simone compliments Mike's art and even calls out the artistic influences, which totally irks Kate. Jealousy is definitely brewing. That night, Mike offers to sleep on the floor, being all polite. Simone offers to stay awake while they sleep, also polite. Kate, not having any of this nicey nice behavior. She says, whatever, we'll all sleep in the bed, but I'm in the middle. Love triangle alert. Kate struggles to sleep that night, and in the morning when Simone's not on the bed, Kate assumes she's left. Nope, she's just in the bathroom. At this point, Kate breaks down and finally takes a treat. She gets this cute little box with 3 candies labeled fun. She pops one in, offers one to Simone, and after a lot of hesitation, Mike takes one too. Then it's chaos. The 3 of them start dancing, flailing around, laughing, and yep, even sharing some group kisses. But it doesn't stay fun for long. Suddenly, Mike starts tripping, hard. He sees blood everywhere, feels like he's underwater, and imagines his little brother Sean falling with him. It's terrifying. Simone and Kate bring him back to reality, but he's panicking and begging to leave. Kate calms him down and puts him to bed. Afterwards, Simone asks what that was all about. Kate reveals the heartbreaking truth. Mike's little brother drowned in their family's pool while Mike was supposed to be watching him. And yes, Mike had been high at the time, which explains why he was so hesitant to take the candy. That guilt? It's been haunting him ever since. Simone, trying to connect, shares her own story. She lost her mom as a kid, and she and Mike bond over their grief. She holds his hand in a comforting gesture, but guess who sees it? Yep, Kate walks in and freaks out, convinced Simone's trying to steal her boyfriend. Oh boy, drama's about to erupt. She tells Kate that her constant lashing out isn't just random anger, it's insecurity. Ouch. Naturally, that blows up into an argument. Mike tries to play the peacekeeper, yells at them to cut it out, and storms off. Classic "I'm done" energy. Kate realizes maybe she overreacted and tries to apologize. She admits maybe she imagined things. But guess what? Simone, being the pot stirrer she is, throws in a little, or maybe you didn't, and keeps the tension high. Perfect way to exit. The next morning, Simone is gone, finally, but she leaves a creepy little "thank you for the wild night" message on the wall in green crayon. Yes, green crayon. And it's aimed at Mike. You can imagine how well that went over with Kate. Kate loses it, starts accusing Mike of cheating. Mike, on the other hand, is trying to convince her that it's just another twisted trick from the room, like the gun situation earlier. He insists he did nothing. But Kate's too far gone in her anger and actually pushes him to the floor, hard enough that he hits his head and starts bleeding. Now Mike's seriously hurt and stunned, not just physically, but emotionally too. And this is where things get deep. He starts unloading years of pent-up frustration. He reminds Kate he never cheated on her, not even when she was in New York. He gave up his rich friends, dropped out of college, and stayed back when she was going through depression. And despite all that, all he's gotten in return is jealousy and mistrust. He's heartbroken, and honestly, who wouldn't be? Kate's crying, apologizing, clearly shaken. But now Mike's feeling dizzy from the injury. He wants a doctor, but Kate reminds him they can't get medical help. The contract doesn't allow it. So she gives him a shake to get his sugar up and presses a towel to his head. Mike's stunned, not by the rules, but by her. He starts wondering, would she actually let him die in here for money? Even though the wound is small and eventually stops bleeding, the damage is already done. Emotionally, that's when Mike hits his breaking point. He's done with the lies, the manipulation, the room, everything. He tells Kate the money won't fix them. They're too broken. He begs her to leave with him, but Kate, she's not going anywhere. She flips it on him, saying it's easy for him to walk away because he's always had money. And then, in a totally unhinged move, she grabs the gun, and threatens him to stay. Mike, cool-headed and focused, ignores her and calmly presses the button. He walks out. Just a few days short of the full 50. That's how fed up he is. Now Kate's all alone, spiraling, lying around, freaking out in the shower, until she notices that little raindrop drawing on the wall. That moment somehow inspires her to think, maybe, just maybe, she can make it to the end. Flash forward to a few months later. Mike's out jogging, clearly single now, and runs into Kate coming out of a building. It's the first time they've seen each other since the room. They go for a walk and catch up. Mike gently asks if she stayed or left, but Kate just kind of avoids the question. Hints at regret, gives him an apology, but never really says what happened. Very mysterious. And then comes the big reveal. The building she walked out of? It's a homeless shelter, and there's a plaque on it that says a new kitchen was built thanks to an anonymous donation. Was it Kate? Did she stay and use the prize money for something good? Finally, we cut back to the immaculate room, and a new couple walks in to take on the same challenge. The cycle begins again.